Hello,
Yo, yo,
everybody.
yo.
Hello, and welcome to the very first Modern Cast, hosted by me, Christian, and my very, very, very good friend, MJ.
Episode 1, baby.
Episode one of the Modern Cast,
Here we are.
uh, in production in line with Modern Girl Records, MJ's very own.
Yeah, Modern Girl Records is just this media group for us, bro. And I just want us to be able to release all the media we can music, film, podcast, whatever. Just be able to put in one collective, one team, I guess, as you could call.
Yeah, and it's gonna have all of our music and all of our upcoming music in a very nice place for us to hold for the very near future. Um,
And a podcast coming soon about our new albums that are gonna come out soon.
yes, yes, yes.
That'll be probably episode 2.
Okay, okay. But for now, for now, we're doing the modern cast. So the name modern cast is like kind of like a play off of modern girl, and also we're going to be talking about a lot of music on this podcast. Music that not only inspires us, but we feel like is culturally relevant. Music that we're just in the know about. Music that's come our way generally. If we were to hear any recommendations from our friends, it's probably something that we'll include, or
And
just
just
things that things we think are relevant. You were saying?
things for just people to listen to.
Yeah, that as well. Like everything we recommend on here, everything we talk about, we're gonna be spending our time doing because we wholeheartedly believe that it's good content. Unless we explicitly state otherwise.
Unless you
Honestly,
start getting paid, I guess.
yeah. Unless we start getting paid. Yeah, once we start getting paid, then you can't trust the word we say. But for now, straight from the heart, baby.
Straight from the heart. Broke as fuck. Straight from the heart.
All right, there you go. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But yeah, introducing the podcast out the way, introducing ourselves out the way. It is very nice to meet you all. I hope you all have a wonderful time with us this evening. Go ahead and spark up, grab a coffee or something. We're probably going to be here for a while. And thank you again for
It's a
joining us.
beautiful day here, and I'm in Chico, California. It's Friday.
Oh,
Where are you coming from, Christian?
I'm in Moreno Valley, California myself. We're just up and down, north and south.
North and South. Cali, till I die.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere else. Nah, I hope I can leave. Oh goodness. Anyway, but yeah. So this week
Sweet.
we
How's your
want
week
to
been?
talk about.
How's your week though so far?
Okay, so to talk about my week, I had a pretty good week.
You had a good
Work's been a little hectic, like because of everything going on. I work at a coffee shop, work at Starbucks. You know, that's what I do while I'm in school. Then I make music and keep it cool. But it was kind of hectic. But works work.
I feel you. I don't work anymore, so we're just chilling half the time now. So
Not just chilling, man. We're grinding out here, man. MJ's actually put out a good collection of records in the past year. You've been on a good streak, bro. Don't downplay yourself.
new, yeah, new beat tape coming out soon.
Yeah.
By
Oh, sorry, go.
honestly, just by the time I guess this album, by this time this podcast is released, the album will probably be out.
Yeah. We do have a conjoint album in the works, something that we need to discuss at other times. But this week, reactions. Bo Jackson.
Do you know who Bo Jackson is?
Bo Jackson is somebody famous that I've heard of, but I don't know who they are.
Bo Jackson's a football player, bro. He's from Alabama. He played
Okay.
at Auburn. He's famous, like I guess super freak athlete. I guess as a little kid he jumped over like a Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh man, is that like a legend, or
Yeah,
did
it's
that
like
really
a legend.
happen?
Nah, that's like a legend thing. But like he played in the NFL and in the MLB at the same time, and he played for the Raiders. I forgot what baseball team he played for. So
Yeah.
So maybe that's I don't know why they named it Bo Jackson. I feel like maybe because he thinks Bo Jackson the greatest, and maybe he's comparing himself to it. But what's your first reactions to the album?
So my very first reaction to the album was that it was gorgeous, it was beautiful, other synonyms, but honestly, I was kind of thrown off by the length. But when I look back after like my second lesson and I thought about it for a little bit, I just thought like there's kind of no bad songs on the album. Like at least through I've listened to it like maybe 5 times, you know,
Yeah.
and like I don't skip any songs. You know, everybody's always has a on every song has like a very well hitting verse. The mixes are always beautiful. Like there's it's never dull for me, not a single moment. Um, you know, and I think I really like Boldy James. This is kind of my introduction to Boldy James, if I'm honest.
I think we forgot
Um,
to talk about it. It's by Boldy James and The Alchemist.
yes, yes, I
Bo
should have
Jackson.
mentioned.
Bo
Yeah,
Jackson.
it's a collab album between Boldy James and The Alchemist. You know, I feel like The Alchemist needs no introduction, but if you want to give perhaps Boldy James an introduction, because like I mentioned, like I wasn't really well versed with him. You know,
Yeah, so I did some research. I guess he was born in Atlanta and raised in Detroit.
hard.
Yeah, and that's just kind of it. He has multiple projects out, but to me, this is my first time hearing him,
Okay,
and I'm definitely gonna go back. I really like this album too. So, and The Alchemist is The Alchemist. He's worked with everybody. So,
yeah, Alchemist, like I mentioned, kind of needs no introduction. But yeah, this album came out this year. Was it like not even a month ago from today?
it came out this month.
Yeah, August 20. Right now, today is August 20th, so not too long ago. Is there any song in particular that you want to bring up that really stood out to you? Maybe in the first half of the album.
Um, yeah. Well, I think the first thing I want to say is like I really like how it feels like an album.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
elaborate.
How yeah, like it feel like not. I wouldn't say all the songs are equal to each other, but the way they set up songs and the way some songs lead into each other, it does feel like one cohesive project. And it's like a movie. You still gotta sit through the whole thing. You know,
Yeah,
you gotta sit through the whole thing. It's really. I like all the like clips of people talking. Especially when I think of making music like that, like it's like that's very influential. Like how can we add that? You know, and I think that's very cool. And then I think the Alchemist production is too good on this, bro. He's
it's
spoiling.
amazing, right?
He's
Yeah,
spoiling us, bro.
yeah, dude. But the Alchemist, he's I feel at least in my experience, you know, and I feel like he's always been extremely consistent. The Alchemist kind of rarely he does miss. Don't get me wrong, he rarely misses, and I can't even name when he misses. I'm just saying.
We all
I'm
miss.
kind of just saying nobody's perfect, but
Yeah,
you know that's
we
kind
all
of
miss.
yeah. I'm saying that super vaguely, like a dumbass. But man, to me, I just be straight up. You know, I feel like you did digest this album a little better than me, but just to be straight up, I cannot shut up about Fake Flowers because I love Freddie Gibbs. That's my dog, and he fucking absolutely kills it on that verse. You know, it's also has current. He also there's also pardon me, currency is also on the song, and he has an absolutely amazing verse as well. I believe he's the one that comes up with the name of the song. He has it in his verse. He says fake flowers. I was like, oh, he said it. But Freddie Gibbs has so many one-liners out of the song. You know, he's like, man, fuck
That's
them kids.
fuck them kids.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't sell work on the phone because I have janky service. Like, yeah, he's talking about if he had a kid, as soon as he's old enough, he'll make him like hold a gun and like you know like, and then he's also talking about like I'm not a role model, like you know, fuck those kids. Like, it's kind of cool. It's cohesive still.
I think
He has a lot of fun with it.
all the features on here, bro, are hits.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I can't think of one bad feature on here.
No, I can't as I can't as well, but
Earl
um,
Sweatshirt, his on photographic memories.
okay, yeah.
That's a good standout in the first half of the album.
You've been on a big Earl Sweaty
I just like his
um
flow. Like I don't know,
yeah.
and his beat selection. He's always on fire, fire, bro.
Sure, sure. Yeah, he works really well with the Alchemist too. I feel like they have a couple bangers together already. Like what
Um,
was that track on Bread? What was that called?
I don't know. Let me see. Do some research. But I think for the most part, what do you think of the intro? How do you think it like Do you like albums that start like that? Like start? Do you like an album that starts with the song, or do you like when it's because it starts with like I think someone talking right in the beginning of the album?
Yeah, but I think Double Hockey Sticks is a full song.
Yeah, it is a full song, but
Yeah,
like, do you like
I like
intros like that, or
I know what you mean
do you
though.
like
Like
when it bangs?
I know what you're saying. I thought you were trying to make the distinction that like, do you like albums with the first song being just an intro, or
Oh,
you know?
no, I just meant do like a whole intro to an album, like the
I
song.
like it, but I feel like it kind of takes away not 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 just this time, but like at any time you do it, it takes away from the song individually. Like if I were just to throw that song on a playlist, just because I want to hear the song, but I got to hear the intro before I hear the song, even though
Yeah,
I'd rather just listen to the intro when I'm listening to the whole album. You know, like if I'm listening to the whole album, then yeah, I need the intro, I need all the interludes, blah blah blah. Because you got to see it as a whole piece. But if I'm just like shuffle playing Freddie Gibbs, it's like, man, do I want to hear this intro every time? I'm just kind of jamming.
yeah.
It kind of feels like when I only have 40 minutes, and then I start a movie, even though I'm not gonna finish it. I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like.
I think it works for the album, but in a playlist situation, I see what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it just takes away from the song as an individual aspect. But I think it fits beautifully with the album. Like it really makes it work like a whole piece, and that's what I really appreciate it too. Like the Alchemist put in a lot of effort in making this thing cohesive. It's like a full picture.
That song's called Equal. It's on that Brad EP. That came out in 2018, and that has Earl Sweatshirt.
Really, really good
Yeah,
EP.
that's a good EP. That has Conway and like West Side Gun on it.
Yep, way back when, before I even heard of them too. I just became familiar with Conway after he dropped his latest album this
Yeah,
year.
and it has Rock. Um, I'm not really sure if I'm saying his name. Rock Marcino, and he's on this new album too. And I think
No,
he has a pretty good verse on this album too. That's the one with he's doing one with Earl Sweatshirt. Um, for that photographic memories. So there's a lot of chemistry on this album, and I think you could tell.
yeah, man. Any other standout moments for you on the record you want to bring up?
I really like the song EM or EPMD. I think that's a cool. I think that's a,
Elaborate.
no. I just think like that was just banging. Just it
Hmm.
was just banging in general. Like that's a song like that I just remember always just banging when I play in my car, my headphones. It's just a fucking banger, bro. Uh,
Feel
Diamond
it.
Dallas. I love the chorus on that. The singing. I think that's the Stove God Cooks. I think that's the credited for singing on that.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's it. 14 songs, 44 minutes. Too long, too short.
No, I think it's perfect. Oh, sorry. I think it's perfect
Perfect. You think so?
because it's 14 songs. I think at 14 songs, it would have been too long if it was an hour or like 56 minutes or something, like, something around there. But I think this is a really good length. I think this is like right, like on the line of like the perfect threshold. Like if this was perfect, it landed like somewhere just like right on that line.
Yeah.
And because every song is what's the longest song? Like maybe 4 minutes or something. You know, each song is like three verses, maybe four verses.
I got hooks.
They got some don't even have hooks. I think a lot actually. Um, but man,
But as a rapper, what do you take away from like Boldy James flow? Because I took a lot away from production wise. So, like the way the Alchemist is transitioning, the way he's flipping samples, the way he's using bass, and the way I'd always pick apart the beats. And I think that's the main reason why I do like that EPMD song. It's just that's probably my favorite beat on the album.
yeah, Boldy James to me gives me a lot of inspiration in the same way that I feel like Earl does, because with those kind of beats, and especially with that kind of flow and style, um, it's a lot of like contemplation, you know. And there's kind of like two modes. I feel like to a rapper, there's like you have to be like versatile. It's kind of like when you're I don't know, like when you're a basketball player, right? It's like you have to have good footwork and you have to be able to make your shots and you have to be able to be fast, whatever. you're a rapper. You have to be able to write, and you need to have. You don't need to be able to freestyle, right? But you're kind of judged on your game, like your performance. You know, like if you're able to freestyle, you get more credibility as a artist, as a performer. You know, and does that deem you more creative? I don't feel like necessarily it does, but I still feel like it's a really good tool and a really cool tool and a really good, or not. I want to stop saying good. I want to say it's a really like essential thing to practice because I think of it like I play a saxophone. Right? I play an alto saxophone. I think of it like the altissimo range, right? Charlie Parker, very very famous saxophone player. He never learned altissimo, but he's one of the most renowned saxophone players of all time. You know, you can kind of make the comparison to like freestyling and writing. You know, you can be one of the greatest penners of all time. You can't freestyle for shit. You know, like why not? But that being said, I do feel like freestyling is a really good skill to have, and I feel like it's. But yeah, yeah. I don't want to get into another point. I was about to get into another point about sometimes I feel like writing can get too influenced by like freestyling or a flow. You know, like sometimes you're trying to say something, but then you say something that sounds so good that you're like, oh, just put that in. That's like, it sounds good. Just throw it in. You know.
Yeah.
But when you really write and you stick to something for a while, you can do both.
Yeah.
You know. But again, it's like, sure, what are you trying to do and everything? It's so specific. You know. But with that being said, right, to circle back to Boldy James and how he to me is like reminiscent of Earl Sweat. Um, uh, so they have a really contemplative flow, right? I feel like every word they're saying, dude, it's probably like they're saying what I would take like maybe 3 or 4 lines to say. You know, the same impact of like emotion and shit. And it's just it's they have an amazing pen game, and I feel like they have an amazing flow game as well. Like they're poets, you know. I don't really consider myself a poet like that. I consider myself a writer, you know, but only because I've written, you know, and like I'm not really terribly familiar with like poetry, if I'm honest, you know, like I'm more musically inclined, but I know they're extremely similar, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're straight up poets, and if I were to do some research more in writing, I know I could do it. But man, if I'm honest too, I've never liked poetry, like as a standard thing. And I only mean that like as if I'm not like actively like against poetry. I think it's beautiful and I think it's an amazing. And there's poems I like, but like like slam poetry is never something I've thought about like going to or something that's caught my attention. Um, Maybe I would enjoy it though. It's just like at a glance, I'm just like that looks kind of lame. But man, I'm sorry to all the poets out there. Keep doing what you're doing. We need poets out there. Like Earl Sweatshire's probably written some cool poems, bro. But if I read them, I'd probably be like, it's corny.
I think I think Earl Sweatshirt's
Yeah.
dad's a poet.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Shoot,
his like
it's my
um
first time hearing that.
yeah, his dad's a poet, I think. But I think his dad did like
Yeah,
one of the spoken word parts in one of his songs. So
yeah. I probably sound ignorant as fuck, huh?
no, I think
Poems are butt.
I think he wrote a poem for your upcoming album. There's a part, and I think that's pretty.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. For an album coming up, I guess I sort of wrote a poem at the end. It's more like I don't know. I don't think of things in poetry. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's poetry in there, but they're not. Who knows?
Yeah, his dad's a poet, like a really famous poet. I can't say his name though. So I might not try. I don't want to disrespect him. But yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, in total, I think the album was a great album. I recommend it to anyone who's a fan of hip hop, a fan of bars, a fan of beats, a fan of albums. Just as like an album, and I like the album art too a lot.
I'm over sick.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
Reminiscent of the New Strokes album art a little bit, just the colors and like the line work. You know. Kind of what I like about it, really rigid. But yeah, all right.
That's mostly it for that album.
So yep, that was us reacting to Bo Jackson by Boldy James and the Alchemists.
Shout out Boldy James.
Banger,
Shout out the Alchemist.
banger alert, banger. Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into recommendations. You know,
Recommendations. You have an album to recommend to us?
yes, yes.
That I put you on. So don't act. Let's not act like I didn't.
MJ showed me this album. MJ showed me this album.
I would say it didn't leave as much of an impact as it left on you.
You know, bro, I feel like that happens a lot. This happens all the time with me and MJ. Or MJ will be like, "Bro, let me put you on real quick on something," and then he'll show it to me, and I'll be like, "Oh, dude, this is fucking amazing."
Yeah.
This and that, and then I'll go back to him. He's like, "Oh, what, bro? I don't really like it."
Yeah,
I was just showing you.
Yeah, it was new. Like I liked it when I don't know. But
that shit happens all the time with MJ. That shit's funny because I remember. All right, we're gonna talk about this album, but you know we got time. I hope y'all got time.
We had time.
But that happened. The very first time was with you showed me Julian Casablancas' his second group that he made, The Voids, right? And I got introduced to The Voids during their second album, Virtue. I didn't really listen to them while they were Julian Casablancas and The Voids, you know. But Virtue was like my album of the year. Like I can sing every song on that album I can sing the album front to back, you know.
It's a good album. I like that album.
Yeah, I thought it was really unique for the times. I really appreciated how experimental it was and how good it sounded. I really enjoyed the diversity of that album. You know, like that album was. There were some parts on there where I skip. You know, there are some skips. It's not a perfect album, but it was my favorite album of that year for sure.
But you could definitely sit through it. Mm-hmm. You only skip it because you have the option.
Yeah. Well,
like if you put it on vinyl, I don't think I would scratch that track. I would just let it play.
Yeah, I would too.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but to be specific, just it was just never mind. I can't be specific. Oh yeah, it was called Wink. It was just the one song where I was kind of like, I just kind of hop over it. But man, I love that album. Absolutely love that album. But yeah, that was the first. And then I went back to MJ. Like, he's like, "Oh yeah, it was cool, bro." But like the old Strokes are better. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
No, I really like that album. I think it's like the Strokes' second best album.
Really?
Yeah, but that first album to me, it's just fire, bro.
I feel that.
It's just super raw, and this album's super raw in its own way, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just living in the past, but I like that. I do like this album a lot. I mean, I play this album all the time. Like,
Virtue?
Oh, the Voids album. No, I thought you were talking about the Strokes. My bad. I was thinking about the Strokes album. No, Virtue is good. I like Virtue a lot, but like I think some of Virtue just like I don't know. There's just some part.
There's some parts that are missing. I feel that, but
some parts
I love that part. Anyway, my recommendation, right? MJ picked his reaction. My recommendation. Mine. Christian's recommendation.
Christian's recommendation of the podcast. We'll be rotating this off and on. So
yeah, so we plan to do this.
Maybe I'll do a modest mouse.
It's still. I apologize for like every like we keep putting things in parentheses right before we're about to start the segment. We're really sorry, but this is the first episode, you know, so we're trying to get the structure laid out for you guys. But yeah, that's kind of what we plan to do, is to have a reaction and a recommendation every episode, and we're gonna start with the reaction. And 1 week, we're gonna have MJ react. Or not react. We're both gonna react, but he's gonna pick the reaction, what we're gonna react to, and I will pick the recommendation, and then we're gonna cycle back and forth. But regardless of which, we will both be kind of familiar with it. But usually, whoever picks it is already more familiar, and then the other person tries to spend that week just like digging, you know, and researching it. You know, but that way you guys kind of get a look of like maybe someone that's had a look at a view of the album a little longer, and someone that's like more fresh to it, you know. So that'll help with that. Anyway, yes, finally, what you've all been waiting for. God's trashman sent to right the mess. Fievel is Glauque. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, please forgive me. Album came out this year. I absolutely adore this album. It's like, what would you call this album, MJ? What would you categorize it as if you had to?
Um, I think it's very like a little bit of lo-fi, a little bit indie, but a lot more jazz based. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot
Very,
of jazz.
and it's a lot
A
of,
lot of jazz.
and it's very French, and I think that's what they are. They're a French band.
I believe so. But I love every song on this album. I can honestly go up and down on it, and I think I will. I think I will talk about this album chronologically.
It's kind of a long album.
It is
There's 20
20
tracks.
songs, 34 minutes though, because every
Yeah.
song is like, some songs are like a minute and a half. Actually, that's a lot of songs. So just to start us off with The Perfect Idiot, a minute and 42 seconds. It has a little bit of that intro you were talking about, where like it has like a little bit just to introduce the album,
Yeah.
but it's literally one line, and I think it's like a perfect balance because it's so short that you don't really mind it. If it's like 2 minutes of just the intro talking and then like the verse, yeah, it can be kind of annoying. But then she just the lead singer, she just says, "We're God's trash man sent to right the mess," and then the album starts. You hear the drums, and it's great, and it's kind of cool. But The Perfect Idiot, a minute 42, one of the longest songs actually on the album. And she's talking about, it's very poetic, this album, you know? And I really, really, really appreciate the main singer. I really should have done my due diligence to have her
Well,
name and give her
I'm
credit.
I'm on the Bandcamp right now, and I can't read this.
Oh, okay. I should have
but
done
it,
my due diligence to
but it
try to
looks
find her
like
name.
on this song, um, oh wait, never mind. For track one, there's there's a lot of musicians on here. A couple musicians, bro, in this project, or at least collabing with them.
Shoot.
I think
Yeah.
it's just yeah. So this album is very instrumentally rich. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has a lot of fusions that I think fit really well. Like, I love the use of the horn, you know. The tenor comes out a lot, um, especially on more sensual parts. They have strings. I believe they're violins. They're so sweet, so
Yeah,
angelic. They're like, they just like, it's like a feather floating down. That's how you feel like sometimes on this album.
the
And her,
strings,
yeah,
sax.
the performer's voice is so in line with it too. Like, she's very gentle. She's very soothing. Like, I'm absolutely love her performance on this entire piece. She hits falsettos at certain times, and sometimes she's like spitting bars. She's straight up rapping on Sweet Tooth.
Yeah,
On Sweet Tooth, it's like a really impressive performance. Actually, like, I feel like I couldn't do that. you know, she's like, she's going to like the rhythm of the drums, and she's like sometimes like in sixteenths, like, you know. Uh, but it's really cool. I think she's really, really skilled and talented. But I wanted to talk about also the substance of the album, because on top of that, I don't know if she's writing all this herself or she's has people helping her write. But a lot of these songs are beautifully written in English, you know. And I only mention that because I'm so impressed by how well these are written. Like, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And The Perfect Idiot, she's talking about, if we might be free, can you know that you're the perfect idiot for me outside Parkside? She's talking about like love. I think she's talking about, if you're in love with somebody, can they know that if we really are free, can you know that you're perfect for me? And then she's talking about, she calls him an idiot though, you know.
yeah.
And I think maybe she's calling him an idiot because they can't know, you know. So an idiot can't know, and that's what makes him perfect. That's what makes him free. If they can't know, I think that's what she's trying to say, you know. But it's kind of cool, and this level of like symbolism and complexity, it's found in pretty much every song. And she follows it with the ballad, the ballad "Bring Me to Silence," minute 49 as well.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous composition.
Yeah, I like her
Absolutely
singing
cool.
on that song.
Yeah, her singing's amazing, beautifully written. She's talking about being brought to silence before she's brought to ash. You know, she'd rather be snuffed out before she gets burnt out, I suppose. I don't know. Something like that. And followed by Decoy, the only song I believe that is actually in French on the whole album. She kind of has like this whispered, soothed voice. It's a little dancey too. Like that's what I like about it. Um, but man, I like it. But absolutely, absolutely love this album.
Yeah.
I think this might be my album of the year, honestly,
I think bro, I'm on the Bandcamp, and my
so
favorite part
far.
about this album is that it's 100% live, recorded on a mono cassette player. That's why it sounds like that, and like I love the textures of this album.
Hmm.
This is one of my favorite albums. I like the textures. This is an album, even though I'm not deep into it like you are lyrically. I still like putting this album on and just being submersed in it. Like I'm at a live show. When I'm at a concert, I'm not really soaking in all his words or the lead singer's words. I'm just kind of like soaking in the whole vibe and the whole music of it. Like, you know,
I love that. Yeah,
and
and
that's
the
what I like about this
mixes.
album.
Yeah, the mixes are, to me, they really put you there with them. You know, I feel like that gives the strings a lot of their charm too. It's just that like because they're being played through this I don't know, it just sounds like you're right there like at the bottom row of like a show or something, like with the
Yeah.
violin over you, you know. It's kind of what it feels like with like headphones on or like earbuds or even in the car, you know.
Yeah.
And man, I love the strings. But if you absolutely, absolutely do not have, what is it, 34 minutes and 45 seconds to listen to this entire album, I suppose I will tell you to listen to Goodbye because it's at the very bottom and you won't get a chance to listen to it if you're not vibing with the rest of it. Goodbye is a very impressive song. Also, listen to the very beginning of it. But yeah, but honestly, don't kid yourself. This whole thing, it's like the length of like a TV show on Netflix,
It's fire.
and it's amazing. So go
Turn your
listen
phone
to it.
off, just
Hmm.
chill,
Just lay on your bed for like 34 minutes, stare at the ceiling.
do a substance that you prefer or a substance you don't prefer or whatever.
You know, just do something. You get a little high, have a beer, and
Or just be
just
sober,
you know,
but just vibe to it.
yeah, just and then just like close your eyes, like pretend you have like a suit on. You're like at a gallery or something. It's like post COVID, you know, so no one's wearing a mask or whatever. Just be comfortable, or everyone's wearing a mask, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
just like you got a galleria, you got a theater, amphitheater, a real fancy place. You got martinis.
And if you like the album, please go on. They have Bandcamp. This is a Bandcamp band. Yes, it's on Apple and Spotify. But you could buy the album for $8.
Yeah, support them.
Buy a digital
Really,
album. You
really
missed
support
out. We
them.
missed out on the cassette. They sold out on the cassettes. On the
Hmm.
cassettes. Dang.
Yeah, but support them digitally. I think Bandcamp Fridays is when they get 100% of the revenue, right? So try to buy on a Friday.
This was released on your birthday, January 1st, 2001.
Oh, that's probably why I love it so much.
Sheesh.
And now you guys know my birthday is, but go buy me some presents.
Dude,
Fuck
that's
it.
crazy. I didn't know that.
That was hard. I didn't know that either. That's a fact.
So it looks like it's two people. One's from New York City, and I think the other one's from France. The first one's Zach Phillips, and I think the singer is Ma Clement. Clement.
Hmm.
Clement. Yeah.
Okay. Well, shout out them
Um.
because that shit
Yeah,
guys.
and I think Zach does all the compositions, and then Clement is like singing. So
Yeah, one more time. God's trash man sent to write the mess. You know.
good album.
But yeah, back to my metaphor. You know, go back. You free martinis. You in a suit, just looking at this album being played at this amphitheater. That's how you gotta match. That's the mindset you gotta be in. And
Facts.
just listen to it. Be carried away.
Facts.
All right. Well, yep. That's about all we wanted to talk about.
That's about it
Uh,
for today.
thank you guys so much for sticking with us this long. If you have, you know, go
Appreciate
down,
it.
click all our linky links, our sneaky links down at the bottom if you haven't seen them. For our future plans, next episode we do intend to talk about some more music.
More music. Yeah.
I will be doing the recommendation for the reaction, And MJ's turn for the recommendation of the week. Next week, let's see what you got in
It
store.
won't be a Modest Mouse album.
It won't. Okay, you got, promise.
I think you promise.
From the top of the ocean. But
Yeah.
yeah, we also wanted to do a shout out this week.
Shout out. Shout out mental illness. No. We're doing shout outs today. I want to shout out. Honestly, shout out to Alchemist too. I think.
Yeah, the Alchemist.
He inspires me to grind, and just to make music that I care, that I love.
That's beautiful, bro. That's dope.
So shout out to Alchemist.
I love the Alchemist. Shout out to Alchemist for me, because I feel like he's putting a lot of people on. I know I don't want to say that he put on Boldy James, because I wasn't really familiar with Boldy James before the Alchemist. That's also kind of the point, is that like I know about him because of the Alchemist. I was like, oh shit, there's no Alchemist album with Boldy James, you know. And now I can say I'm a Boldy James fan. Like this, Bo Jackson.
I want to go back. Definitely go back in his catalog. See.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's so. Man, shout out to Alchemist, because at least for me, he's been putting a lot of people on. He's super prolific, and he's done a lot of things for music. So, sincere thank you from my heart. Keep doing what you do, man. All right, bro. So yeah, thank you all for sticking with us. This was the first Modern Cast. Closing words, MJ?
Not really. Come back, I guess. We're gonna try to do this, and just thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.